So last week I left off on getting defenders. I think I was on like Mithril or Addy or something like that. So this week I just continued on that until I got Rune, and then I moved on to the Dragon Defender area, which is just to the west of the guild. You need tokens. It's basically just the same. It's just in a different area. They are a little bit stronger, and the drop rate is lower than it is upstairs. They also have a bit better drops. They can drop some rune items and stuff like that. But once you get your Dragon Defender, then we are done with the Warriors Guild. I started the Warriors Guild at 65 attack, 65 strength, and it took me until 69 attack, 65 strength, I think, until I had my Dragon Defender, to give you an idea of about how long you're looking at. After we have the D Defender, we're going to finish off all the quests that we have left. So first up is Morning's End Part 1. It takes about 20 minutes. Then we have Morning's End Part 2, which takes around 30 to 45 minutes. Morning's End Part 1 unlocks the Elf Teleport Crystal, which teleports you to Leata or some Elven name city place. It's to the eastern part of the Elven lands. There is a fruit tree patch there, so it can be pretty helpful if you're doing farming. Morning's End Part 2 unlocks the ability to craft death runes if you have 65 rune crafting. Then next up is Swan Song, which should take around 15 to 20 minutes. And this quest unlocks you the ability to catch monkfish and unlocks the Piscatoris fishing colony city. Then we have Lunar Diplomacy. This quest is a bit longer. It takes around an hour. And it unlocks an entire new spellbook, so it's a pretty big quest in old school, so it's nice to have it done. Lunar Spellbook, which has a bunch of useful spells in there. We can't really use too many of them right now with our low magic level. And then finally is Dream Mentor, which is a continuation of the Lunar Diplomacy questline, and it's really quick. It should take around 10 to 20 minutes, and that further unlocks spells on the Lunar Spellbook. And hooray, that is all the quests that we need on this account. There are a few little mini quests that we're gonna have to do, but that is all quests done. Sweet. The XP lamp I got off Dream Mentor, I put on Strength, and there are a few little mini quests that we still have to do. So up next is Skippy Mogres, which is where you get your flippers and stuff. You need to have that quest done for the Valley Diaries. You literally give like a couple things to a guy and then that's it. And then we have to do our barbarian training as well. At first I thought we had to do it all, and it's all pretty easy besides one thing where you have to get chewed bones, but it turns out I second checked and you don't have to get chewed bones. So I'll put a link as usual to a guide on the barbarian training, and I would do it all except for the chewed bone part. And then up next is unlocking Bones to Peaches, which you unlock at the Mage Training Arena. There's 4 different rooms in the Mage Training Arena. I'll put a more in-depth guide down in the description, but just a quick overview of it. There's the telekinetic room. You have to basically solve some puzzles using telekinetic grab to move a guy around a maze. Then there's the alchemist room where you alch items. There's a few different items and each one has a certain value, and so you try and alch the ones that have the highest value, and they switch pretty often. Then there's the enchanting room where you enchant. Basically you just run around and pick up dragon stones and enchant those. And then hop worlds, that's the best way to do it, with the highest level enchant spell you can use. And then there's the graveyard room, which is you use bones to bananas. Then you deposit the bananas and you get points that way. And in order to unlock Bones to Peaches, which we need for the Lumbee Diary, you need 200 telekinetic points, 300 alchemist points, 2,000 enchantment points, and 200 graveyard points. In total, I think it probably took me around 4 or 5 hours, something like that, to unlock the Bones to Peaches. And it's a pretty good source of magic experience as well. I was pretty surprised at the alchemist room. I was actually averaging, I think it was 100k XP per hour, which is pretty insane. So after Bones to Peaches, I moved back over to Nightmare Zone, and I did that until I think this week I'm ending off on 70 attack, 70 defense, and 69 strength. At 70 attack, I swapped out my Dragon Scimitar for an Abyssal Dagger. Cost about 10 mil, and that upped my strength XP per hour. I was getting something like 82k XP per hour on average, and I'm planning on staying in Nightmare Zone until I do Slayer, which will be at 85 attack, 85 strength, 70 defense. So I'm going to be in there for a while, and the order I plan on going on is strength up until 85, then I'll switch over to attack and do attack until 85. And then a couple things I wanted to go over with Nightmare Zone. Once you start building up points, you want to start spending your points on herb boxes. Make sure you still have enough for absorptions and overloads, of course, but any excess points, you want to spend them on herb boxes. You can only spend, I think, about 160k points per day on herb boxes. So that's basically a daily, just every day you want to buy your herb boxes. So each herb box contains 10 random herbs. You can buy 15 boxes per day. So that is 150 random herbs you get every day. And I think on average, it's usually like 1 ranar per box about. You get about 11k GP per box on average, which means that you're getting a little over 1 GP for every Nightmare Zone point. And then I also wanted to go over just some things that you should be doing in Nightmare Zone to keep your XP up that maybe most guides don't mention. But you want to be using a combination of prayer potions and absorption potions and overloads. You don't need to be using protection prayers because you want to use a rock cake to get your health down to 1 HP. And then you want to use absorptions with that. When you do that, it means the monsters can only do a maximum of 1 damage when they hit you, which means your absorption potions last for a very long time. Then you also want to use your prayer potions to keep your piety up. And something that boosts your XP per hour a lot is using power surges, so make sure you're watching out for those. I usually bring a granite maul with me, and then you can just sit there and spam click the spec bar and you'll do quite a bit of damage, and it raises your XP per hour by actually quite a bit. Not doing it, you might be looking at something like 75k, maybe even 70k XP per hour at these levels, while if you actually do use the power surges when you see them, you'll probably be getting more around 80 to 85k XP per hour, so it's a significant jump. Also, now that we've done Lunar Diplomacy, I swapped out the Tree Spirit for Me. Me is an NPC boss that you fight during the Lunar Diplomacy quest, and it has a little bit lower defense level than the Tree Spirit, so you can get a little bit better XP per hour at Nightmare Zone. And that is it for this week, so thank you all for watching. See you next week.